Hey everyone, 𝗂𝗁𝗵𝗔 here, and today I have a different type of nail art for you. This is going to be some Sharpie Winnie the Pooh nail art. I'm super stoked about this. Now, I was inspired by 𝘬𝗏. She no longer does videos online, but she used to do a lot of Sharpie nail art. And with that being said, when Maniology came out with these plates, I was like, man, I really need to do the style that was similar to the 1973 colorized version from Ernest H. Shepard. And so with that being said, that's what we're doing today. So without further ado, let's get started. So first starting out, I used White on White by China Glaze. This is a basic white cream, and it's pretty much a staple in their collection. It only took me 2 coats to reach full opacity. I didn't have any running or pulling, and I was even working on a clear nail tip, so it did reach full opacity in 2 coats. But I mainly went with this because I need to have this down as a base. The stamping plate that I'm going to be using today is going to be the M321 100 Acre Wood, and this is the plate that really inspired me to do this Sharpie manicure because it looks like a map. Now going in first, I'm going to be working on stamping all of the nails. So here I'm going to be doing the thumbnail with straight up black because this is my tried and true. Once all of the polishes are dried, I can go ahead and then stamp down with them. And I'm just kind of just placing them as I go to see where I want it. So I first start out with Piglet's house here. Next is going to be the index nail, and this is where it's going to be Winnie the Pooh. And I wanted to show where I just basically take a piece of Scotch tape to remove any of the excess that I don't want, because I want to kind of try to center this because you can see clearly that it's off-centered with the wording, and I want the wording to be above Pooh, if that makes sense. So here I'm just kind of showing you, this is basically how I remove everything, and then I just kind of quickly stamp down Pooh and his little tree dwelling. And then from there, I go back and again to go after the letters that say Pooh Bear's house. And I'm going to do the same thing, repeat the steps, remove all the excess that I don't want, and then I can go ahead and stamp this above his house. Now I'm not done yet, so I'm gonna go in after this like river. And so here I'm just gonna be basically doing the same thing, remove what I wanna remove, and then I'm gonna put this little river on the right-hand corner of the nail, just so that I can add something else to this nail to give it some a little bit more colorization and dimension. Now I'm gonna go after the middle nail, and so with this one, I'm gonna place first 100 Acre Wood down on the bottom half. And then I'm going to go back in again, and I'm going to go after these different trees. Now, I'm not necessarily trying to keep Owl. So what I'm going to do is I'll remove him off of the stamp and what I want on there. And then I can go ahead and fill it in with mainly a lot of the trees, which I see on the plate. And you can do the same thing too. You can go in repeatedly after the different trees and try to, place them where you want them to go. You don't necessarily have to go with the flow of what the plate is. You can change it whatever you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the ring nail, and this is where this is going to be Owl's house. So here I'm going to go back in again, and it's like a rinse and repeat. I sound like a broken record now, but here I'm going to make sure that Owl's house is placed kind of like somewhat in the middle. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to re-stamp Owl, but I want to put him up in that top right corner that you see on the screen on the nail. So it looks like he's kind of like flying in, if that kind of makes sense. So that's why I kind of left that blank. And then, of course, the last one is going to be the pinky, and I was going to go ahead and do Eeyore because Eeyore is a really big favorite. So this time I went ahead and put Eeyore's gloomy place, or his place of residence, is going to be, the wording is going to be on the top part of the nail, and then I'm going to place Eeyore below it. And here's the final look, what it looks like if you just want the black and white look to the original, which came back out in, I think, like 1926. But we're gonna do Sharpies. So here I'm gonna get some aluminum foil, and this is great so that it doesn't leak through any type of wax paper or anything. And I'm gonna be using 91% isopropyl alcohol. You may also know this as surgical spirits in the UK. And this is a bottle that I got from Maniology. It's one of those pumps, so I just fill it up. the brush that I'm using here, you can just basically use any type of nail art brush that you want. I'm using the one from 𝗿𝗃𝗄𝗎. It's the 24 Dance because it's got a nice kind of somewhat pointy tip. It's not super long, so it'll work great for the detail placement that I want. Just make sure that you have some paper towels next to you. And then of course, it's gonna be the Sharpies. I don't know what I was doing there. I was just playing around and being a goofball. But here I'm gonna be placing down a lime green, then a darker green or a regular green. Then I put down a yellow as well. And then I'm gonna go in with a brown, then an orange, and then I want to set off to the side. I put on the bottom the blue, and then I'm going to do a little bit of pink. This is going to be obviously for Piglet, and then a little bit of black. And the black I use for Eeyore. So here I'm just kind of showing you where everything is placed there. And the main reason why I kind of put the greens together and the yellows and the oranges is because I would also try to dib and dab, like mixing it. So what I like to do is you can take a dapping dish if you like, and then you just basically kind of quickly fill this in. I'm just kind of speed rushing this because honestly we would be here forever if I did this at regular time. But what I'm doing here is I'm just going back and forth to and fro with the isopropyl alcohol and then of course the nail art brush. Now I try to make sure that I don't go specifically over the black lines, but what I will do is I will just kind of like fill in the areas. I'm adding shadows, detailing. Here with Pooh, I'm actually coloring him in the yellow, and then I go over with a little bit of orange so that he has that more of that, you know, quote unquote honey color. And then of course I fill in the blue for the little creek. And then with the grass, I'm just kind of like mixing the two greens. Sometimes I'll mix in a little bit of yellow. So there's more like a lot of kind of like that watercolor look is what you can kind of see and grasp. Of course, the brown is going to be for the trunk of the trees. And this is just a good way to kind of like get that watercolor or effect, if you want to call it that. I hope if I'm making any sense here. So for Owl, I put him in, of course, as brown, but then it's a really simple process. Yes, it can be a little bit tedious, but you know, your world's your oyster. You can color this whatever you want to. I just wanted it to be kind of similar to what the stylo was from the 1973 version. And as I said before, with Eeyore, I just take a little bit of black, not a whole lot, because I don't want to fill him in with black, just to kind of make that gray tone. Once everything is completely dried, then I can go in with my smudge-free top coat, and then I'm gonna top coat all of these nails. Now, it's absolutely important that you do this because if you try to put a regular top coat down, you're gonna smear everything. It's gonna ruin it, so definitely use a smudge-free top coat or a water-based top coat first. Let it completely dry, give it about 20 minutes, and then go ahead and apply your final top coat down. This makes it so much easier. It'll be a nice glossy finish, and honestly, I really did enjoy the glossy look. I think it looks really, really cute. The only thing is I love the matte finish, but I do feel that the glossy look did give a little bit more oomph when it comes to the color versus doing it matte, so it's completely up to you. And then this is what the final looks like with the glossy finish. Again, so this is glossy. I really did enjoy this, but it is a little bit harder to take photos with, but you can see that color looks really nice and rich. Once you put the matte over it, it kind of dulls it a little bit, but I still liked it regardless. So I am curious, let me know down below what your favorite nail was. Also, if you enjoy this, if you're gonna try this out. I think some other people have already tried Sharpie nail art. And again, I was a bit of a procrastinator. This video was supposed to be out like weeks ago, but I never got around to editing it. So now here it is. But other than that, if you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe, join the Chills crew if you haven't already. And until then, take care and stay chilly.